What's going on, guys, man? It's your boy Poet Q back here with another video, man. Today we're doing another music review. I want to take some time out to salute to the people who are making their way back, and for the people who are viewing for the first time. So, quick disclaimer, I just want to let you guys know that anything that I'm saying through the video isn't coming from a hateful place or nothing like that. Everything that I'm saying is just a fan of music, someone who's just listening to music and giving feedback, whether it be me just saying I really fuck with the song or me going in depth and really explaining things that could be a little bit different. So with that being said, let's start with the first project. The first project was Pigsty by No More L's. So going into the project with the first song, this is probably, it's been a while, but this is probably one of the first intros that I was kind of like, I'm cool on. It really just wasn't for me, more so, per se. But I feel like the following songs, New Kings, When Pigs Fly, and More Leaves, were really more so the standouts for me. Just kind of listening to it all the way through and through. So with When Pigs Fly though, those last two verses, I don't know which artists they are, because I know sometimes it has the artist listed at the bottom, but sometimes they're sequenced a little bit differently. So for me, I want to know who those artists are specifically, because them two last verses were really fucking dope. So I kind of want to reach out to them, maybe see what's up with that. You know what I'm saying? See if they got some projects out right now, because that was super fucking dope. All right, so for Ice Cold, I didn't like the way that the auto tune was layered on there. Okay, so the ad libs and the ad libs kind of overbear the verse, and a lot of the times when artists do that, they'll make the ad libs either too loud or they'll put too much on there, and it makes it hard to hear the verse. And now I'm trying to listen to two different things, and it's not like it's separated from left ear and right ear. It's all like almost as if it's just literally just piling on and piling on and piling on, and it makes it kind of hard to just be mindful of the lyrics. You know what I'm saying, be mindful of the sound. So that's probably one of my takeaways for that one. Reagan Era was a solid track. Okay, so for Micah, the thing was with this one is the second verse is louder than the other verses. Like, I was listening to the song, I'm like, okay, cool. The first verse came on, I'm chilling, and then the second verse came on, and you can like, it's like a shift almost, and it's a lot. I won't say a lot louder, but it's noticeably louder than the other verses. So and it kind of takes away from the beat. Like, I can hear him, but like, because he's so loud, I can barely hear the beat. So I don't like. It's not that I can't tell if he's on beat or not, but like, it's a little bit hard to tell if he's on beat or not. Rhetoric was that first verse was a little bit hard to understand. It's not so much as like auto-tune or no shit like that, because I don't even think the auto-tune was used in the first verse. It was just a little bit more of like enunciation and needing to be a little bit louder for me. Rhetoric continued. Whoever, I think it was King Merc who did the last verse. I absolutely fuck with that verse like 10,000%. So shout out to King Merc, man. That was a really hard verse from him. Funeral. Oh, okay, so Funeral was the next song after Rhetoric. Funeral to me could have been left off. Could have been left off the project. It wasn't bad, but I think there's a lot of, I feel like, so to me, I do feel like there's a lot of good good tracks on here. I just feel like this one didn't really stand out like the rest of them did. So for me, I feel as if Funeral probably could have been another one that was left off. I think really the only two that I felt that way about for the most part was Funeral and Friendly Fire. But outside of that, I think everything else is pretty solid. Oh no, it wasn't. So here's my thing, right? I always tell you guys to, when you're doing music, to experiment and try different things, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So I listened to The Future, and immediately, it's not like immediately, because I wanted to be unbiased and listen to it through and through. But the more I listened to it, I was just like, I appreciate the attempt at, I guess, trying to step outside of that, but I feel like it didn't really fit the theme of what was going on in the project, and I also didn't feel like it was working. So that's probably one of the only other tracks that I feel as though probably shouldn't be on here as well. But outside of that, Not My Love was was, I think it was nice. I just think that for the singing vocals, you should probably humanize it a little bit more instead of making it sound so auto-tuney. And Legacy was a solid outro. The only other thing that I have to say as far as this goes is when you're doing when you're making a project like this, which like the project is a solid project, it's not a bad project. The cover art, it got to be better than this, bro. And that's not me trying to be like disrespectful or nothing of the sort. It's just people will look at that and they'll immediately be like, I might not want to listen to this, just because it's almost as if you don't take your cover art as serious as you take your craft or your music. It takes away from the artistry in a sense, and I feel like for a project that has really good songs on here and has potential, I feel like you might want to dedicate a little bit more time of that to the cover art. So with that being said, we're going to the next project. The next project was Like the Movies by Badmon. The S is a dollar sign, guys, by the way, just to make sure we're all on the same page. So, to start off with a subtle entrance, I really fuck with that one. I fuck with the beat switch that you did in the middle. I'm gonna always be a fan of beat switches. I just feel like it adds a lot more to a track. It makes you want to engage more with it, listen to it more. Forever, I said maybe humanize the auto tune a bit more. Didn't care for the last. I didn't care for the last verse either. Um, while I'm here, I think that it's important to say. I'll save it for the end actually. So, Charter Secrets was a solid track. It wasn't really much of a standout to me. I really fuck with the catching up interlude. Eyes Don't Lie was solid as well. It wasn't too much of a standout for me either. Um, like the Movies is one that I really fucked with. I fuck with that one heavy. I didn't. Alright, so I didn't really fuck with new motto or conversations. I felt like both of those might have been kind of, they could have been left off the project. And Don't Forget About Me was hard too. I felt like that was a really solid outro. As far as it's a solid outro, but I feel like for the two tracks before that, I feel like for New Motto, it's kind of the chorus that kind of takes it away from me. And I know I'm like stuttering, but I'm just trying to figure out ways to say things that I want to say. New Motto, I just feel like it was more so the chorus, and conversations. I just feel like it wasn't it wasn't the one that like it just didn't have that effect for me. Like I didn't really enjoy it that much. But I think overall, it was a solid project. But this is my thing, right? You have the album or project titled Like the Movies. I feel like the only issue is that you don't have to continuously say, you know what I'm saying, talk about a project in order to let people know what that project is, you know what I'm saying, or what the overall theme of it is. And I felt like that was something that was kind of like continuously talked about throughout the project, like, oh, it's like a movie, like a movie, like a movie. I think it was said through every track on this project, and just because it's a concept project doesn't mean that you have to keep stating it. I feel like when you, as an artist, you explain it well enough, people will naturally just be able to people will naturally be able to feel that. They'll be able to know, okay, like, oh, this does feel like this, or whatever the case may be. So you might want to be a little bit mindful of that going into the future. The next project I want to kind of get into is I Am Not Shit. That's the artist's name, is Project I Am Not Shit. Alright, so I feel like the first song, self-titled I Am Not Shit, was a really solid project. I feel like it was light, like it was like some cool shit, some real melodic shit that you can kind of just listen to and fuck with. Nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. Just something you can throw on and just really set a vibe to. Tea Time is a really nice track. I really feel like it's one of those ones that I have to hear in a concert. I feel like that's really more for the mosh pit kind of vibes for me. And then lastly, you have Ego. For me, Ego, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't too much care for Ego that much. It was probably my least favorite song on here, and I didn't like the mixing on there either. So that was just kind of my take on that. And then we're working our way through the singles. So first single that I got submitted to me was A9, a project called Work. So this kind of has like a Travis Scott like meets DJ Khaled type of vibe to it. I think that if the verse was harder or catchier, I feel like this would work. Like in the summertime, I have no doubt in my mind that like a song like this really could take off. So if maybe you want to like rework a verse, I feel like that might do go a long way for the song in general. But that's kind of just my thought on that one as of right now. The next song that I have is DJ Worldwide. His song November 10th. I think that, all right. This is my take on this one. I think it's hard, but take away. I think it's hard, but I think you should take away the auto tune, and I think that throughout the whole entirety of the song, you kind of like have it like mimicking, like not mimicking, but like it's being said twice, and you did it the entire song. And I feel like with this song, this kind of feels like an old like Meek song, like maybe not in the cadence and the form, but more so just the grittiness and the seriousness of how intimate the subject matter is. So for me, it's just more so one of those things where you have to. I don't want to hear auto tune on this. I want to hear the raw energy. I want to hear the raw feelings of it, and I don't need to hear it twice. I want to hear it once and feel that shit the first time. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of my takeaway. But I definitely think that it's hard. The next song was YG Zxggy. Still Zig. So for this one, it sounded like you were still reading it. You were still learning the lyrics almost when you were reading it. When you were spitting it, it's like you're just reading it off of paper, not so much as memorize, which I feel adds a lot to a song. The more you memorize it, the more it feels like you can catch a vibe off of it, which is one of the things I was pretty much saying was that you should learn it a little bit more. And that might not be the case, but I feel like if you go over it more, you'll be able to really give that vibe off better. So for me, it's just one of those things that I think caused maybe the downfall more so of the song. It wasn't bad, but because the beat was hard. That beat was West Coast as hell, so I feel like you really can't go wrong with that. It's a real classic beat, but definitely try to memorize it a little bit more. And then the second verse could definitely be a little bit harder. And be careful layering your tracks, because sometimes if you mix them differently, or if they're mixed differently, it's gonna sound like someone's talking with you almost, and it can make it go from a good track to a bad track, or just sound really awkward. So that was my advice on that. The next song was Purgatory, and here's my thing with Purgatory, right? This doesn't it. Sometimes when you listen to an artist rap, sometimes you can just tell it doesn't really sound like it's them, like it fits their style. And I don't. That's the kind of the vibe I got from this, is that it really didn't fit your style. And one of the things that I did want to tell you, as far as like mixing and shit goes, and at I think it was okay, a minute 4 seconds or a minute 9 seconds, you cut the beat out, and then you brought it back in. But the fade in, like there was no fade in. It was kind of just like it faded out. You know what I'm saying? You hear the echo, and then the beat came right back on. You got to work on fading it in, because making it so abrupt can be a lot, like it can be overwhelming for a listener. So that's one of the things that I definitely wanted to say for that one. And then lastly, for the Spotify, Ejay, Mallard, breaking all the rules. So for this one, I really feel like this has the potential to be like a hit, like some real shit. I mean, you have the samples in there. You have the homage to H-Town, you have the homage to Sierra. I feel like the only thing for me that I didn't like about it was like at second 38, it's like an ad lib, but just straight auto tune. And I don't know who the group is singing or whatever the case may be, but I feel like it takes away from it. And I'm pretty sure it's like that multiple times within it. But I feel like if we maybe humanize a little bit more of the regular auto tune and take that shit out completely, I feel like this shit really has the potential to be really big. Like this shit is fire. Like I'm not gonna lie, that shit is really fire. And then lastly, I have Cap, his song called Studio Rat. And so my overall thoughts on that is the beat is overbearing you by a lot. Like the beat's actually really loud. Certain lines didn't fit that I feel like you kept trying to fit in there, and you should never do that on a track. And I think that when you layered it, it should just be mixed a little bit better. But outside of that, it's a pretty solid beat. It's a pretty solid track. So that is all the reviews that I have for today. But if you want to submit more music, definitely do that. My DMs are always open. If you know any artists who might want to review, definitely let them know to reach out to me, because I'm going to always be doing reviews. This Friday, in 2 days, or day in the wake up. You know what I'm saying? We have my competition going on, the Battle of the Underground, 10 artists. They're already listed out. Definitely come check that out. It's going to be over on my Twitch. Subscribe, man. Like, comment, subscribe. That's all I can ever ask you guys for. I can't ask you guys to do anything else outside of that. But I want to say thank you guys, and until next time, peace.
They told me don't aim too high. Seeing is believing. I'm a dreamer, dreaming of what I wanna be. They told me don't